So much. This is now the second Kaavya Dhaara session that will be looking at multilingual poetry. So we have 4 young poets who will be reading their work today in English, Dakhni, Urdu, Hindi, and Telugu. And they represent a really diverse set of voices. And I'd like to invite all of them to join us on the stage. So we have Khurram Muraad Siddiquie, Ramesh Karthik, Riasath Asrar, and Zehn Kashyap. So just briefly to introduce them, and they will then read from their work. Murad, he says he prefers to be called Khurram. Khurram Muraad studies at the University of Hyderabad. He's a linguistics student, and he writes poetry in Urdu, Dakhni, and in English. Ramesh Karthik is the author of 3 books in Telugu. He writes both prose and poetry, fiction as well as poetry. He has, in fact, written a considerable amount, which I'm really impressed considering his age, and has been included in the curricula as well in undergraduate education. Riasath Asrar balances life as a techie. He's an engineering student and also writes poetry in Urdu. And finally, we have Zehn Kashyap, who is our youngest poet here on stage today. She's a 10th grade student, and she's been, despite her very young age, a feisty advocate of disability rights, particularly in the area of destigmatizing disability and promoting awareness of neurodivergence and all forms of special needs. So really happy to have these 4 young poets here, and I will request Khurram to start. So each of you has about 10 to 12 minutes.
Thank you for showing up. We are really a bunch of young poets trying to put our hearts out in front of you. So I'll be reading probably 5 poems today. One is in Dakhni, one is in Urdu, and 3 of them will be in English. So this poem, the first one that I'm going to read, is in Dakhni, the language I speak, a dialect of Urdu. It is called Naseebon ke Kawaban. So if you're, of course, if you're from Hyderabad, you understand Kawaban is dried meat. So meat is dried in the month of, in the festival of Eid, and then it is used throughout the year. So those are called Kawaban. And yes, and I'm struggling to find, though I've bookmarked my things. Yeah. So it's called Naseebon ke Kawaban. खूटी पो डाली थी उजलत में ख्वाबां, खूटी पो डाली थी उजलत में ख्वाबां, सुकाती थी अंगन में मुरकुल कवाबां, आले में पड़ रहा था पीपल का साया, गर्दन पो रख रही थी इतर का फाया, आईने को देखी तो घटरिए जवानी, अबर नहीं सो कब पड़ना अवकाल पानी, नमूने के आ रहे थे दिल में ख्यालां, रंगाली तो कैसा मैं उजले दो बालां, बचा को रखी सो ये 2-4 पैसे, बना लियूं क्या बालियां जरीना के जैसे, सुखेंगे नसीबों के जिस दिन कवाबां, एक एक उतारूंगी खूटी से ख्वाबां. Thank you. Now the next one is in Urdu, very close to my heart. I'll give you a little story behind it. So my grandmother, she's a survivor of Operation Polo, integration of Hyderabad into Indian state. And so they've seen the war, they've seen they've seen the genocide and everything. So each share, each misra encapsulate a memory. So her name is Gulnar. Her mother name was Raban. So story that she told us was even after 6 months, even after 3 months of the massacre, she used to keep a dagger close to her waist and sleep with the trauma that she had, ab kahin kuch na ho jaye, and then, sort of security. And there were 7 sisters, a long story, maybe not for today, but this is something that I wrote. It's called Sitamgar Sitambar, because this happened in September. So here it goes. सितमगर महीना सितंबर का आया, नमक फिर गमों के समंदर का आया, लगी फेरने पान की थैलियां वो, तसव्वुर में मंजर लुटे घर का आया, जो करवट बदलने को पलटी थी राबन, जो करवट बदलने को पलटी थी राबन, कमर बंद में म्यान खंजर का आया, कहा माँ ने गुलनार पर राख मल के, कहा माँ ने गुलनार पर राख मल के, है मौसम दकन में सनोबर का आया, असीरे चमन जब बयाबां को लौटे, असीरे चमन जब बयाबां को लौटे, मुकाबिल तमाशा मुकद्दर का आया, सितमगर महीना सितंबर का आया, नमक फिर गमों के समंदर का आया. Whoa, it's very tolling to read poetry. But yes, here goes another one. It's called Kaiser Kaiser. So Khizr is in Abrahamic religion. He's a friend of Moses, basically, who is considered as the most knowledgeable person. He's also called Subspir, evergreen sort of. Wherever he walks, he brings greenery with him. And Deccan, where we live, it's not right on your face green, but we have our own greenery. But yes, this is about dismissal. So I think dismissal or not getting attention or not is the strongest feeling or a despair or तवज्जो ना मिल पाना. मेरा ख्याल है कि बहुत ही अहम एक एहसास है जो इंसान के अंदर पैदा होता है और उसको पानी देना ज़रूरी है. तो ये पोएम उसी की एक अक्कासी है. My heartland caught fire in the night of negligence. My heartland caught fire in the night of negligence. Tall eucalyptus are in flames, and golden shrubs blackened. Woodpeckers of grief in motion pecks the dead bark, cut, cut, cut. Trillion termites of memory have marred my bastard teak. Where are you, my green friend? Where are you, my green friend? Often sparkling skull, Kaiser, Kaiser, Kaiser. That is the poem for you. I think this will be my last poem. This is called Children of Silent God. So I'm a student of linguistics, interested in language, and we are taught these amazing things about language, rules, this, that, quite amazing things. But I think we still have no language to speak to each other. And poetry is that bridge where we sort of find a language, rather, a medium. He chained the words and locked the tongues. He chained the words and locked the tongue after he spoke to the last prophet. All the words that were to be uttered were uttered to him, the last man. We are not men. We are cosmic orphans. No one speaks to us. Not birds, not winds. We only have each other to speak to. We only have each other to speak to, you and I, the deaf monsters of memory. Weave languages from that last utterance. Weave languages from that last utterance. Children of silent God, come on, chat. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And all. Myself, Ramesh Karthik Naik, madam already introduced me, and I write about Banjara community, and most of the people you may know, Banjara people wearing ivory bangles and wanderers who are the wanderers always from Rajasthan to Hyderabad. So first I recite my poem into Telugu and will be reciting translations of them. Uh, I'm little scared to recite my poems. Uh, my Kavita Sirshika Ma Tanda. Tanda is nothing but a word where group of tribal peoples live, mainly Banjara, and this is the term which is used for Santal Adivasi also. Their hamlets are being called as Tanda, Ma Tanda. మా తండ ఓ పిట్టగూడు మా ఇల్లు పగిలిన గుడ్లు మా బతుకులు గాలిలో తేలుతున్న ఈకలు సూర్యచంద్రులు తండాని పొదిగినంతసేపు పొదిగి కాలం పెదాలపై మడతల్ని రాజేసి ఎగిరిపోతారు అద్దాలు ఆశల్ని రేకెత్తించి మా ముఖాల్ని మాకే చూపిస్తూ సడి లేకుండా చేతి బొక్కల్ని విరిచేసి రవ్వలా పగిలి గుండెకు గుచ్చుకుంటాయి మేకలు గొర్రెలు ఆవులు బర్రెలు మనుషుతో అన్ని ఆశలతో నదుల అడవుల్ని తవ్వుకుంటాయి పిల్లలందరూ ఆకాశంలోని సంత్రాగోలి కోసమో రాత్రి చక్కెర మిఠాయి గోలి కోసమో రెక్కల గుర్రాల్ని గాలి మీద గీస్తుంటారు అమ్మలందరూ రాత్రిని ముస్తాబు చేస్తున్న నూనె బుడ్డిని నిద్రపుచ్చడానికి అడవి గీతం పాడతారు నాన్నలందరూ ఇంటికి కాపలా ఓ కన్ను ఇంట్లో ఇంకో కన్ను పొలంలో తలను ఇంటి బయట పెట్టి తమని తాము కాగడాల్లా వెలిగించుకుంటారు మా తండా కథ వింటూ ఇప్పపూలు మత్తుని కక్కుతూ దుఃఖిస్తాయి మా దుఃఖంలోంచి ఎగిరిన సూర్యుడు తండాలో ఓ తుఫాను రేపుతాడు తండా అవయవాలన్నీ చెల్లా చెదురైపోతాయి పిల్లలు వృద్ధులు తప్పించి ఎవ్వరూ ఉండరు తండా ఎప్పుడు అదో ఎడారి మళ్ళీ సాయంత్రానికి కానీ తండాగా మారదు and the translation of this poem. Don't know how many people you have understood my Telugu. I'm reading the translation of that poem. Title of a poem is Our Tanda. Our Tanda is a bird's nest. Our homes, broken refuges, and our lives are feathers swirling in the air. The moon, the sun, hatch time so long as they wish and flee, leaving folds on the lips of time. Mirrors rise our hopes, showing ourselves, break our knuckles, quietly shatter into fragments and prick hearts. The goats, cows, buffaloes, sheep, and hearts all dig out rivers of forest with desires as kids. And the kids draw winged horses on the black of night with their fingers, dreaming of sugary peppermints of custard blobs. Mothers sing a lullaby to put the oil lamp embellishing the night to sleep. Fathers guard homes, one eye on the house, the other eye on the field. With their heads out at their windows, they turn into flaming torches. The ippa flowers grieve, releasing inebriety, listening to the story of our Tanda. And this is the translation of that poem. And another poem about Jowari roti. Most of the people can understand Jowari roti. So I titled it as Jarer Bati in Banjara. So I do use Banjara words in my poetry. ఐఎమ్ స్టార్టింగ్ ద పోయం. మీరు చెప్తే నమ్మరు కానీ మా జొన్న రొట్టెలు తండాకు రానన్న ప్రతివాడిని గల్లాపట్టి లాక్కొస్తాయి. మా రొట్టె దేహం నిండా కనబడని పచ్చిదనం నాలుకలోని తడిని పీల్చుకొని నమిలి తినేస్తుంది. రొట్టెలు పురుడు పోసుకోవడానికి మా అమ్మ నానమ్మల చేతివేళ్లతో సహజీవనం చేస్తాయి. వేళ్లకు పిండికి మధ్య జరిగే యుద్ధం కడుపులోని ఖాళీని వెలివేస్తుంది. రొట్టెను తాకగానే బొగ్గుల దేహమంతా బుగ్గలు బుగ్గలుగా చిగురిస్తుంది, సిగ్గుతో ఎరుపెక్కుతుంది. రొట్టెకి చుట్టూ నానమ్మ కాల్చి కాటుక పెట్టి దిష్టి తీసి మంట నోట్లో వేస్తుంది. రొట్టెలన్నీ చాటఒడిలో కూర్చుని కూర ఏంటని అడుగుతాయి, పచ్చిమిరపకాయల్ని కరకర నమ్లుతూ. విశ్వమంత రొట్టెలపై సంచరిస్తూ మేము రొట్టెల కింద తండాలన్నీ మొక్కజొన్న కాడల నీడలో మా జీవితాలు పచ్చగా పైరులైపోతాయి. Jarer Bati, English poem. You won't believe me if I tell you that our Jarer Bati can magically drag you all to our tanda at the mud fire, where our bellies turn into pans to warm the earth. The unseen rawness of our batis will suck out the saliva of the tongue and eat it away, chewing hard. The batis are birthed from fingers of our mother and grandmothers. The war between fingers and dog shapes the hunger. The round bati blushes at the touch of fiery coal. After the end of the bati are roasted and the evil eye of nature shooed away, the night dreams give a final touch as Dadi offers a piece to the fire as a sacrifice. The assortment of batis sitting on the lap of Chadla. Chadla is nothing but winnow. Like a sorry. The assortment of batis sitting in the lap of winnow as a solar system. We chew the batis with green chilies and onion with nasner khodi. Nasner khodi is nothing but raw garlic pickle. So most of the tribals, they use raw pickles for their food and meat. We, the wanderers, move with the wind on the universal shape of bati as a pollen dust. Beneath the bati, all our tandas rest, embracing shades of makka and jar stacks and turmeric fingers, and turns our lives into a lamb. My last poem, don't know whether I'm boring you. I don't know whether you people are enjoying or not, but this is important to represent a community and to write their life and food habits. My last poem is Veta O Jeevana Samaram. కత్తి పత్తి ఎండిన రొట్టెలతో పచ్చి వెల్లుల్లి కారం వీపున వేసుకొని గుంపులు గుంపులుగా అడవి నరాల్లోకి వాళ్ళందరూ పాము విషంలా ప్రవేశిస్తారు. అడవి దేహంలో వాళ్ళు ఒక్కొక్క దారి నరాన్ని పట్టుకొని ఆకలి కణాల్ని అన్వేషిస్తూ నదిపాయల్లా చీలిపోతారు. అడవి తన దేహంలోనికి కాలం ఎక్కించిన విషాన్ని ముప్పు తిప్పలు పెట్టి 3 చెరువుల నీళ్లు తాగిస్తుంది. వారం రోజులు వేటగాళ్ళందరినీ విచిత్ర హింసలు పెట్టి వాళ్ళ తినుబండారాల్ని లాగేసుకుంటుంది. మాంసం గురించి ఆశలన్నీ వదులుకుంటూ కొందరు, అవకాశాలు వెతుక్కుంటూ ఇంకొందరు, అడవి దేహం నిండా వారు ముక్కలు ముక్కలుగా తలో మూలకు విభజించబడతారు. రోజులు వారాలుగా, వారాలు నెలలుగా చీలిపోతాయి. ఒకరు కుందేలు, ఇంకొకరు జింక, ఇంకొకరు నెమలి, ఇంకొకరు తాబేలు, కొందరు సీమకోడి, కొందరు ఉడుములతో, కొందరు చనిపోయిన దేహాలుగా యుద్ధంలో ఓడిన వీరుల్లా తండా చేరుతారు. అండ్ ఇంగ్లీష్ translation of this poem. The title of a poem is Survival. The day good omens become creatures of inquest in our new land, the folks assemble on the hills, greet the day with blood of a hen, and fix a time to hunt. Tiny dangerous weapons, dried rotis, raw pickle of garlic and onion are the constituents of the journey. As atoms of hunger spreading into veins, they enter the jungle like venom of a snake. The forest, blind and innocent, realizes the danger and liberates the souls of great animals from its faded bride. Days swell and die in the barks of trees. Weeks try to suture the wounds as folk die. The silent war continues. Among the folk, creatures and souls, death crawls like a slug into the heart of an abyss. The spell of dizziness in the forest lasts for about a month in the forest. As the folk try to cross the hills, they are legendary hunters who die. They walk back to their land with the least they are left with: peacock, rabbit, monitor lizard, beehive, and etc. Thank you.
Thank you. May I ask Riasath to read his work?
Adab, good afternoon, everyone. So, I'm not going to give any translations or background or anything, not because I don't want to, because I cannot. And Urdu poetry has this sound, its phonetics. You'll find a rhythm in that. So even if you don't get the language, you may enjoy the rhythm. All right. So, इजाज़त. जो हकीकत है ख्वाब लगता है, जो हकीकत है ख्वाब लगता है, ये समंदर सराब लगता है. कुल जहाने वजूद ए असरार, कुल जहाने वजूद ए असरार, एक नाजुक हुबाब लगता है. कुछ और शेर देखे कि नसीम सुबह हवाए चमन के बाद बहार, नसीम सुबह हवाए चमन के बाद बहार, हज़ार नाम से याद आए यार की खुशबू. ख़िज़ां गज़ीदा लबों से अदा करें तेरा नाम, ख़िज़ां गज़ीदा लबों से अदा करें तेरा नाम, हमारी सांस से आए बहार की खुशबू. और फिर आज मौसम हिजरां पे छाए अब्रे विसाल, फिर आज मौसम हिजरां पे छाए अब्रे विसाल, ज़मीने दिल से उठे इंतज़ार की खुशबू. किसी के लम्स की तासीर है चमन में आज, किसी के लम्स की तासीर है चमन में आज, कि हमको लगती है फूलों सी खार की खुशबू. और कुछ गज़ल के अशार देखिएगा. एक अब्र सा ख़याल का छाया कि क्या हुआ, एक अब्र सा ख़याल का छाया कि क्या हुआ, क़तरा तुम्हारी याद का टपका कि क्या हुआ. उड़ते हुए गुबार में ज़ख्मों की किरचियाँ, उड़ते हुए गुबार में ज़ख्मों की किरचियाँ, एक कोह दर्द आह से फूटा कि क्या हुआ. और यूं सूखे सूखे पात पे हमने रखे कदम, यूं सूखे सूखे पात पे उसने रखे कदम, जो मैंने अपना शेर सुनाया कि क्या हुआ. और क्यों आज दस्त बस्ता जुनू दे रहा हिसाब, क्यों आज दस्त बस्ता जुनू दे रहा हिसाब, देखो खिरद ने हश्र उठाया कि क्या हुआ. और थी कायनाते हुस्न में हल्की सी रोशनी, थी कायनाते हुस्न में हल्की सी रोशनी, वो आखिरी सितारा भी टूटा कि क्या हुआ. वो आंसू बहे एक आह से निकली वो मुस्कुराए, आंसू बहे एक आह से निकली वो मुस्कुराए, क्या क्या हुआ न उसने जो पूछा कि क्या हुआ. एक ख्वाब खुशखिराम तसव्वुर के दश्त में, एक ख्वाब खुशखिराम तसव्वुर के दश्त में, असरार तुझको ढूंढने निकला कि क्या हुआ. बहुत शुक्रिया. बस दो और गज़लें और फिर इजाज़त. एक और गज़ल देखिए कि हमारी रूह ने जब इस बदन को देखा था, हमारी रूह ने जब इस बदन को देखा था तो यूं लगा कि किसी ने कफन को देखा था। वो कौन अपनी निगाहों से बात करता था, वो कौन अपनी निगाहों से बात करता था। वो हमने बज़्म में किसके सुखन को देखा था। कली कली पे फ़िदाई लिखा हुआ पाया, कली कली पे फ़िदाई लिखा हुआ पाया। कुछ इस अदा से ख़िज़ाने चमन को देखा था। अजीब हाल था फ़िक्रे माश में अपना, अजीब हाल था फ़िक्रे माश में अपना। न तेरी जुल्फ़ न दारो रसन को देखा था। और अता हुई थी अजीबो गरीब सी नज़रें, अता हुई थी अजीबो गरीब सी नज़रें। हर एक ज़र्रे में एक अंजुमन को देखा था। और फिर एक खामा की किरतास पर पड़ी थी नज़र, फिर एक खामा की किरतास पर पड़ी थी नज़र। फिर एक जाम ने तिश्ना दहन को देखा था। और उसी निगाहे इनायत की देन हूँ असरार, उसी निगाहे इनायत की देन हूँ असरार। कि जिस निगाह से गज़ल ने दकन को देखा था। आखिरी गज़ल के 3-4 शेर फिर इजाज़त। चिचोरी गज़ल से क्या कहें कितनी गलत अपनी गुमानी निकली, क्या कहें कितनी गलत अपनी गुमानी निकली। जिसको समझा था दीवानी वो सियानी निकली। जिसको जंगल में भटकते हुए पाया हमने, जिसको जंगल में भटकते हुए पाया हमने। अपने राजा से वो भागी हुई रानी निकली। एक फटी सी कोई नावल मेरे तकिए के तले, एक फटी सी कोई नावल मेरे तकिए के तले। और उसमें तेरी तस्वीर पुरानी निकली। और मैंने किरदार बनाया था कहानी के लिए, मैंने किरदार बनाया था कहानी के लिए। और किरदार की अपनी ही कहानी निकली। बहुत शुक्रिया।
No, no, she wants to read from here. Yeah. So our final poet is Zehn. Over to you.
Okay, so firstly, I have to thank the Hyderabad LitFest team for inviting me here. It's a truly terrific opportunity, and I'll just like to introduce myself. Hello, everyone. My name is Zehn, and I am a grade 10 student of Vasant Valley School. It's a huge, huge honor and a privilege to be here today amongst all of you. So I'm an internationally published writer, award-winning speaker, and an advocate for destigmatizing disability. And I have driven numerous programs around differentness, mental health, and diversity on international as well as national forums. So I believe I represent the growing population of students worldwide who have special needs. I have developed my own brand of empathy, one may say, even my own superpower that arises from being able to walk for a mile in my fellow students, albeit rather painful shoes. To give you some context, I was born extremely premature and was diagnosed with a condition that would cause lifelong mobility issues. And my initial medical prognosis was very bleak, with doctors telling my parents that I would never be able to sit up and would be lucky if I have a vocabulary of, say, 400 words. Such a limitation won't even allow me to write 10 different phrases, let alone dream of speaking at this prestigious forum today. Today, I am honored to launch my audiobook titled Extraordinaire. From French, it's translated to English. It's called The Extraordinary. And it's an ode to the power of differentness, kindness, and empathy. And I do hope it encourages others to look beyond the differentness and enjoy the small victories in everyday life. So I'd like to recite two of my poems. The first one is also titled Extraordinaire. And I'll just start. What is disability? What does differentness mean? I looked up the internet for some insights to glean. A societal imposition on those who to normal don't conform. A label, a pronouncement, in my opinion, way too strong. In one swoop, it just calls out how a person doesn't fit, ousting from mainstream and a right at the table to sit. These sweeping generalizations are senseless at best. We should put this mindless labeling once and for all to rest. greatest minds of yesteryears had disabilities galore. Those fueled their very passions and led them to do more. Helen Keller, Frida Kahlo, Einstein, and Stephen Hawking too. Bocelli, Beethoven, and Van Gogh, just to name a few. Every one of these geniuses had crippling special needs, yet their legacies live on through generations for all to see. Sometimes, well-meaning people just don't know how to react with differently abled people. They're simply thrown off track. Sometimes they show pity and sometimes sympathize. They do it out of kindness and don't really realize. No matter how different people may look or seem or sound, inclusion through act and deed is needed on the ground. Rather than do that look and look away kind of glance, smile, be your genuine self, make kindness your stance. Empathy is a superpower the world needs most today. For every single person is unique in a very special way. Sometimes disabilities are very visible for all the world to see, but invisible ones are just as terrible. I'm sure you'll agree. Everyone is fighting a battle of which you have no clue, and their mighty problems might be unknown after you. So let us celebrate our fellow humans irrespective of their state, appreciate all differences, and move from being good to being great. My second poem for the day is a poem titled Crooked Lines. And one day I thought of crooked lines and what they mean to me. You see them all around in life. Just look around and you'll see. To me, crooked lines are perfect and mean that things are right. The beauty of the existence makes me squeal in true delight. Crooked lines, they are so smart, with a mind of their own. They go this way, they go that way, so brave and so alone. I feel they tell a story of how life should be lived actually, for perfection is overrated. It doesn't exist in reality. Crooked lines are like brave people who do not hesitate. Every bend has a tale to tell that is unique and so great. They don't pretend to be curvy and neither to be super straight. They embrace a little bit of both and so they end up great. Not at all embarrassed of what others of them might think. To the parts that make them up, they all have strong links. Crooked lines, they show us that having flaws is really okay, that we can truly be ourselves, no matter what people say. Let's try to be like crooked lines and deeply understand. By owning up our personal story, we can live a life so grand. So take it as a compliment if they say a crooked line you are. Simply live up to your values, and in life, you will go far. Thank you.
So thank you so much, all four of you. I think we've had like quite a range of style and perspectives, from the lyrical to the motivational. So thank you so much. And now we have a little time for lunch, and we will come back.